Okay, we can start now. Get everyone's attention. We hear you. Okay, welcome to the meeting. I've got the YouTube video rolling on the webcast. So thank you everyone for coming on our last meeting of 2019. And just to let you know, we of course don't run the fourth Monday meeting in December because of Christmas. Early in January, we got the Denver Patent Office coming. Molly Polkowski, who's the director, and then an assistant, Kristen D. Romero, is coming. So your patent office specific questions, please come and ask if you have any. So that's a great resource. And then the next meeting, we're going to have 3D printing, metal and plastics, in January. And then Patrick, in February, right, late February, our meeting. But I'll send out emails. It'll be on our calendar and everything. So anyway, I guess most people here have been here. Anyway, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. This is our 41st year. Been around since 1978 in a lot of different forms and places and everything, way before the digital world came into being. But the digital world has made things a lot easier for us and less expensive, so we can operate pretty lean and mean these days. Just anyone, if you've got an idea that isn't protected or already publicly disclosed, please still keep it confidential so you maintain its trade secret status. And also as a reminder, in US patenting, you can publicly disclose for up to a year before you need to get filed. But if you want to go foreign, it's best to just not disclose at all and get filed at least with a provisional. And that way you don't have to deal with non-disclosure agreements, which are hard to get companies to sign and everything. So anyway, we'll go ahead and start with the round robin. Everyone take a minute or two and introduce yourself to the group and what you got going on. So let's start with Patrick.
I'm Patrick Mogg from KLM Products Group. We help inventors once they get their products manufacturing, everything else, take that product and monetize it through wholesale, retail, and direct consumer markets. We also are the lead for Inventors Launchpad, the Denver market, which does our manufacturing and stuff for us from around the world. So if you have any news for that,
Okay, Paul?
Yes, I'm Paul Moran. We have a product that's non-toxic, non-caustic, that makes water, water, wood, and a lot of fabrics, non-flammable. It's earth friendly. It's the only product on the market, as far as we know, that is patented. It does all the things that it does. And we are in the process right now of using Patrick's services, and we're very happy with them. He's gotten more accomplished in the last couple of months than we had in the last year. So Roger got us a patent on the product, so we're real happy where things are moving along. And this is my sidekick, Carolyn Ball, and without her, I wouldn't be here.
Oh, great.
Only because I wouldn't be able to see you guys.
Paul and Carol are the quintessential example of what can happen in this group. I mean, you can get your patent and trademark, great, and then people get stuck because turning a product into a business is a big challenge. It's the biggest challenge you'll face, and that's where the payoff is. So that's a lot of what this group's about, is helping you move that direction and succeed, so that everything you've done up to that point, including the patent and trademark, pays off for you. Anyway,
yeah, I'm Michael.
Mike, okay.
I work for a company called Waterbox for flood barriers. We're in the process of finishing our prototype, our first prototype, at the end of this week. And then we'll go into testing, and I do the analysis.
Are you guys selling those now?
No, not that. Well, I do have a pre-order
Okay.
Pre-production for their ability right now. So if somebody wanted them, they could get in the first run.
All right.
And that's on our website. We just changed the website again. So anyway, you need flood barriers, that's where to go, waterblocks.net.
Great, okay. Did you get that trademark, by the way?
Yes.
Good. And you have a patent pending, right?
Yeah, well, our utility patent is being done this month.
Okay.
And I don't know where we stand from the patents. We're going to do there yet.
All right.
But yeah, we have a trademark on the box. So.
Good.
Anyway, if somebody needs help doing business analysis or business planning, I'm available to help.
All right. And Greg?
I'm Greg Whitehair. I'm a local attorney. My claim to fame is I've known Roger since he was a child. Like the thing was that one. And I do patent litigation and trademark work, copyright, trade secrets. More recently, I've been doing mediation, helping people stop fighting, and work for some judges, do some special projects.
Okay. And Rod?
Rod, I got a bad pending, that's all I got.
And so Rod's in the process of trying to sell their license and get interest, right?
Already licensed.
Oh, and get your prototype into a market-ready production unit, yeah. Great.
My name is Greg, I'm here, I have a lot of ideas, and of course, I think they're good. And, so I just come to these meetings and get more inspired and to meet people and listen to how their projects are going. And talk with some people about everything. That wasn't just sitting too long. But I like to come here and listen to the speakers and to get new ideas on how business works. The business works. So that's fine.
Okay, sweet.
My name's Sweet. I have a patent claim idea, basically customizable interchangeable game console stand for the PS4 and Xbox One. Basically kind of working on the manufacturing side, figuring out if I want to do crowdfunding, book VCs, do that, kind of getting the final round of testing going soon, or getting done with it. So. Yep.
Okay, Desmond.
I'm Desiree Padilla. I have a company and I have a product that's on the market being sold right now. I actually have 3 products and the 4th one in the works. And the first 2 I'm hoping to work with Roger on patent in January. So I'm selling a non-patentable item and I'm making changes in the prototype already, changes I can make to make it a patentable thing. So,
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, I came here to find a patent attorney and learn. So.
All right,
That's the
good.
process.
Roberto?
I'm Roberto Oschena. I'm a patent agent. I'm practicing patent law since 2003. I'm the correspondent of a few Italian patent law firms, so I do the filing and prosecution in the US of patent application that usually they already been filed at the European Patent Office.
Okay, so I will introduce our speaker, Melanie Romero. She's, you can see here at the Colorado Outdoor Show, demoing our products, and she's got products on Amazon and has gone through development and patenting and trademarking and infringement and the whole 9 yards. So please ask questions during the presentation, and we'll have a lot of good interaction here. So here's Melanie. Thanks.
Do I have to stand in that light or can we turn that off?
You can, well, I just had the website up, but if you,
turn it off. I don't want that.
okay, I can turn it back on.
Okay.
I know it is bright.
Yeah, it was just covering half your face and
Oh.
I was like, I have a hard enough time as it is. So my name is Melanie Romero.
I'm a mechanical engineer by degree. I've always been a tinkerer. I grew up on a farm in New Mexico, and my dad, I think he missed his trade really. He was a school teacher, but he was really an engineer. He built out everything on our farm, and I was always his little follower and apprentice, and he taught me how to weld when I was 8. And, you know, I think I just developed a love of seeing a problem and solving it. So the first, like most of you, if you're creative, you probably have more than one idea. And so I've had lots of ideas as I've, you know, grown up and stuff. And it's always fun. You always think, oh my God, this is the one. And, you know, then you see it somewhere and someone else thought of it already or whatever. That happens a lot, but that's a good thing. Keep a notebook of all your ideas. And then you have to learn how to sort your ideas according to what'll make you the most money, honestly. And you have to think of things. We all get excited, oh, we solved this problem and da-da-da, and we're so brilliant and everything. But you need to think, you need products that will appeal to the broadest range of people, all season. One of my products is seasonal. I learned not to do seasonal products anymore. It's too hard, the timing with buyers and so forth and everything. And so anyway, you learn how to sort them according to, you know, even thinking about things like, how am I going to bring them over if I make them in China? You know, you pay a single lump sum price for a container. And so you want to amortize that over as many units as possible. So if you have one idea that's as big as a car and then another idea that's tiny, you can get, you know, 50,000 of these in a container and pay one price, and it's a lot cheaper than bringing something huge and awkward and hard to merchandise, you know. So you just, and I didn't think of any of that until after I got to that part with some of my products. So just, you know, lesson learned, I guess. Where this all started is, I lived in Dallas. When I graduated with my BSME from UNM, I got my first job at Texas Instruments, and then I eventually bought a house. And my house had this huge live oak tree in the front yard, huge tree. And every spring and fall, it would just, all the leaves would fall off that tree. And I grew up on a farm. We didn't care about leaves, you know, the cows would eat them or whatever. They were just there. But I saw my neighbors out there with rakes and blowers and big black bags and putting them near the curb. And I was like, oh, well, I guess here we have to clean up our leaves. So I went out there and I got my rake and my blower, and it's pretty easy to, you know, to make a pile of leaves. It's just gathering. But I figured out very quickly that the bottleneck in the process is bagging the leaves. There's just no good way to do it, especially if you're a single person homeowner and you don't want to spend all day doing that. You know, you want to spend a couple hours and then go on to other fun stuff for your weekend. So, so I had this, you know, I got my first 39-gallon bag. I popped it open, and then I'm like holding it open with my legs and putting the leaves in like that. And then I was like, this is crazy. So I go to Ace Hardware, Elliott's, Home Depot, Lowe's. All they offered were like bag stands and then big yellow things where you could like pick the leaves up and put them in there more efficiently. But you're still bending and stooping and doing this pick and place. And I was like, you know, I really want just something on the ground where I can just swoop them in. So I turned my barrel upside down, but then the barrel was radiused. And what I really needed was a flat thing. So anyway, long story short, I came up with a big one of these, okay? And it's called the Snap Bagger, the ultimate yard cleanup tool. And so the patentable feature about this is that it's a continuous track and there's a bungee cord. And so this has 2 utility patents, and well, this has 2 utility patents, and it can be any size. So the Snap Bagger would hold 39-gallon lawn and leaf bags. And, you know, as an engineer, I knew that the strongest geometric form was a triangle. So once I designed it, it was so strong that I could actually shovel with it. So could rake the leaves in a pile, put it at the beginning of the pile, shove it under the pile and lift it up, and your bag was already 3/4 full. And then, you know, you could hold it like that and just dustpan into it, and your dustpan is the bag. You know, it just saves you a lot of time, really. And so that product, I was relatively successful with that. I got it on QVC, and I had a real good run on QVC. And then I got it into Walmart for one season. I was a flash in the pan at Walmart, and the reason is because they merchandised it incorrectly. And I didn't have enough control over the merchandising. So you really need to think about how you're going to sell and merchandise your stuff. You know, we all get wrapped around our little prototypes in our shop and all this and how it works and all this. That's all formulaic. The hardest part of this whole business is selling the damn thing. It's what kind of packaging are you going to put on it? How are you going to hang it? Do people understand what it does in 2 seconds as they're walking by the aisle? Okay, that's what you need to think. What color are you going to paint it? What color appeals to women if it's a woman's product? What color appeals to everyone if it's for everyone? Those sorts of things. You need to think about how you're going to sell it. Don't get so wrapped around the little tinkering like we do as engineers, you know, just that stuff's formulaic. Patents and trademarks are formulaic. You can either get one or you can't. Manufacturing is formulaic. You figure it out. You either do it here if you can afford it here, or you do it in Asia. Focus groups are formulaic. So much of this is formulaic. The magic in all of this is selling the thing, and that's the hardest part. You know, to sell things like for example, now I have relationships with buyers at Walmart, relationship with buyers at QVC, at Costco, at Ace Hardware. Those relationships took me a lot of time to find, and that's all you really need. If you hire a rep that says, oh, we can get you into Ace Hardware or whatever, just ask them. So you have the name of the buyer, the lawn and garden buyer at Ace Hardware. He's in your, like, you can call him. Well, no, but we do this and that, then they're not the rep for you, you know. All you need is the phone number and name of the buyer at QVC, the buyer at Home Depot in your category. You know, that's really all you need. And any rep is only as good as if they have that kind of Rolodex, because that's who you need to get to. So anyway, the reason Snapbagger just was a flash in the pan at Walmart is because the way we merchandised it is it was like this, in that it completely comes apart, you know, the two handles and the triangle. So the triangle was about this big, and it sits in a box. We called it the pizza box. Okay, so picture a big pizza box with the big triangle and then 3 handles, 1 on each side. And then we put beautiful 4-color graphics all over the box. Well, then we shipped it to Walmart, and it was a nice order. I mean, it was a lot of money. I was getting, and Walmart was the easiest vendor to work with. They didn't question my price. They paid me net 10. So as soon as I'd ship a pallet, they'd pay me. I'd have a check in 10 days. And I shipped to all of their stores. It was a really big splash when I did that. That's probably the most money I've ever made with Snapbagger, even more than QVC. And anyway, but what happened is they'd get these case packs of 10, and then someone would just get this pizza box and stack it on the shelf and stack them on top of each other. So as you're walking by, you're only seeing the edge of it. Really, you know, we needed to merchandise it like a picture facing the person, you know, or I needed a point of use looping video to explain it, you know, or a QR code where they could scan it and a video pops up, you know, if there's that sophisticated. But that's the hard part. I have a brilliant solution for leaf cleanup, but the mistake was in how we merchandised it. We didn't have enough focus on that part of it, okay? So that's very important, how you merchandise it, and test how you merchandise it. Test how, you know, just ask people, do you get what it does? You know, how does that strike you? You know, do you understand it? You know, and focus groups are very important, and don't be afraid to get people's opinions on your stuff, you know, and you got to have a thick skin. Some are going to love it, some are going to hate it, but you really want that honest feedback. And if you can't handle that, have someone else do it for you. You know, you can hire people to do your focus groups for you. So then Snapbagger, the patent is written such that you can scale it to any size. So I scaled it to this size, And at first I had the Snapbagger contractor, then the Snapbagger utility, and then the Snapbagger mini, and so this was going to be the mini. But anyway, this is called the Yard Pup Ultimate Poop Scoop. So it's this size so that it can universally hold any regular grocery store bag. So you just put the bag over the frame like you're putting a liner on a trash can, and then you take this bungee cord and it secures the bag to the frame. Super simple. And so now you're, again, just like with the snap bag or leaf bagging tool, you're bagging the dog waste at ground level and you're going right into the bag. If any of you have dogs and you've done yard cleanup, you know that the #1 selling product is just a stupid dustpan on a stick paired with a repurposed shrub rake. Those little rakes, they were invented for shrubs, to rake around shrubs. And then someone's just like, oh, you need a scoop of poop, here you go. You know, it was an afterthought. It was a total afterthought product. So this is a purpose engineered product for that problem. And so the other half of that is what we call the little paw. And so if you go to PetSmart, you can buy that little shrub rake with that paired with that dustpan. But if your dog goes on a hard surface, the rake is useless. So then for another $9.99, you can buy a scraper tool. Okay, and I was like, well, that's crazy. So this is a rake, a scraper, a chipper, and a flipper. So it's a 4-in-1 tool. So on hard surfaces, it has that angle. So it's a scraper, okay? And then in grass, it's a rake. Snow and ice, it's a chipper. You can use it aggressively because it's metal. And then it's a flipper in pea gravel, rocks, and mulch, meaning you use the corner of it and you just turn your wrist like that and it just picks it right out of those hard to reach places. The problem with a repurposed shrub rake is everyone tries to use the corner because that's the only good way to get it out of when it's nested in hard to reach places. And the flexible tines of that rake will fling it, you know, so you end up flinging it, oh my eye, you know. And I can't tell you, I've stood at so many trade shows. I've sold thousands and thousands of these at trade shows, hand sold them, you know. And I get that feedback all the time. Oh, it flings into our leg. So this is designed with stiff and rounded fingers instead of tines. That little tiny change just changes the whole, you know, utility of it. So this is Yard Pup. So this has also been on QVC, and it did pretty good there. QVC is the joke with QVC is you can sell $10,000 in 6 minutes and still be considered a loser, you know? I mean, there's someone behind you that'll sell $12,000 in those same 6 minutes. So it's highly competitive. So I had a good run, but as soon as my numbers dipped, there was someone else behind me to pick up that airtime. But it was fun. It was, we sold containers and containers of them and got reviews and everything. People loved it. People would write, I mean, just pages on how much they loved this. Older people, you know, that were tired of bending and stooping, and they put on surgical gloves and go sit on the ground and pick it up. And so this changed, you know, a lot of people's experience with that. Then the next place we sold it was Ace Hardware. Now it's the best place it's selling is on Amazon. So if you search Yard Pup on Amazon, my big news right now is I have an opportunity with Costco. So and that could be huge. I mean, a major, that like quit your job, you know, type thing. So I'm working on that and I hope I can land them. But there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving parts. So one of the biggest problems is that I'm such a small company. You know, I'm a single person with essentially 3 SKUs, you know, this, the Snapbagger and the Wastebagger Pro. And these big companies are used to doing business with people who have 1,000 SKUs, you know, Craftsman Tool, you know, or, you know, name any product and they have, you know, product after product after product. So I'm lower than bathroom bacteria to Costco, you know, in the scheme of importance, you know. So it's hard. The hardest thing you'll ever do is work with buyers. The buyers at Costco or whatever. Costco has been the nicest people, but they're still, I'll send 10 emails to get 1 back. You know, I'll leave 5 messages to get nothing back, you know, but you know, if they close the door, you go in through the window. If they close the window, you dig in through the basement, you know. And so the way I got into Costco is through their diversity program. So, because I'm 100% Hispanic and 100% woman-owned. And so, I made friends with the diversity manager. He loves me. He calls me Poopsie. I always, you know, make poop jokes and stuff and keep him laughing. We just bonded. He's been my biggest ally. And so at the end of the day, it's relationships, you know, we're all selling something. You know, a teacher's selling education, you're selling your patent and trademark work, you know, we're all selling something. So relationship is what sells products. People buy from people they trust, and you have to learn how to do an elevator pitch and talk about your product in a very short amount of time. And you know, but it's really, there's no shortcuts. You know, I Googled how to do business with Costco, you know, and pulled up the diversity program, you know. Then I worked that for a while, and then I scrambled to make sure I had my minority and women-owned certificates up to date, you know, which I didn't, and so I had to, you know. So it's all about action, though. Take action, 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 action. When you hit a blockade, just figure a way around it, you know. But there really is no shortcuts. There's no magic wand. And people who tell you they were an overnight success, someone worked 10 years on that overnight success, you know, to put them there or whatever. It takes a lot of work, you know. I mean, I've been at this for a long, long time. I invented Snapbagger and like the concept of it in 2008, and then I got it into QVC around 2010. I think I got this on QVC in 2012. So it's been a while. Both of my products have been knocked off. Snapbagger, I started actually Snapbagger on Home Shopping Network. And then I was at the National Hardware Show. I had a little tiny booth, and buyers from QVC came by, and they loved it. And so QVC is 4 times bigger. So you sell more in those 6 minutes that you're allotted on QVC than HSN. So I said, thank you, HSN, but I'm going to QVC. So I moved the business QVC. Well, somebody had seen it on HSN that does business with HSN, and they decided to knock it off. So they made a cheap version of it. They were selling it on HSN. So we wrote some letters to HSN and said, hey, look, we were on your show, you know, and you know, this is patent protected and everything like that. So we were able to shut them down, but you know, it's gut wrenching when you see your idea out there and, you know, somebody just took a shortcut. Oh, and the other thing is, Chinese don't knock us off. Americans knock off Americans. Every time I've been knocked off, it's been some fucking American in Ohio, you know, that saw it. And then he calls just some innocent plant in China and says, you know, he takes off the labels that have my patents and says, hey, build me 10,000 of these, you know. That's how it happens. Chinese people aren't really copying us. I mean, I've been knocked off by Americans. A Chinese person couldn't come and sell this. They don't know how to talk. They don't even know why we need to pick up dog poop. You know, they don't know anything about our culture. So beware of your fellow Americans. You know, that's who's always knocked me off. And when Yard Pup was knocked off, it was because I was at the Colorado Home and Garden Show, and we were killing it. And this comes apart and it sells in this little tiny box for Amazon. But at the garden show, my friends come over and we have assembly parties, and we put them all together. And the purpose of that is marketing, because I want everyone walking around with a little red poop scoop on the shoulder. And I noticed that as soon as I have about 6 of these walking around, then it opens up, because people are sheep. Somebody needs to break the ice, and then they all, bang, you know, they all follow. You know, it's just it's psychology. So that's why I do not sell this in a box, because sometimes I'll even take my friends and I'll just say, just go walk around with it for a while, you know. Seriously, yeah. And then they see it and they're like, oh, what's that? You know, and then people that buy it, they're crazy over it, you know. So they're like, oh yeah, just hook the bag on and then this, you know, and they sell it for you, you know. So But anyway, so we were killing it at the Colorado Home and Garden Show. Some vendor that's a professional vendor that does not like I just did the Colorado Home and Garden Show because I live here, but they do multiple products, and they have they run the road, and they do they do garden shows all over the U.S. They saw it, they went and knocked it off, and they started selling it on the East Coast somewhere, so anyway, so that's how it happens. Anyway, so there's my little defense of Chinese manufacturers. Actually, if it weren't for Chinese manufacturers or low-cost manufacturing, this product wouldn't exist. It just wouldn't be here, because I tried to build it here in the U.S. I've tried several times, actually. And I mean, just for the weldment, just for the tool heads, the weldment, it's like $20, and the whole thing needs to sell for between 20 and 40 bucks, so, and that was just the weldment. You still need to powder coat it. You need the bungee cord, you need the grips, you need the clip, you need the stickers, you need the box, you need the foam. I can't believe how cheap the Chinese sell it, I mean, I don't know if they're making a quarter on each one or 50 cents on each one, but they take very little, because for them it's all about the volume. And really, the Americans are really making money. I pay UPS more than I've paid my manufacturer. It's cost me I just sold one today. It cost me $14 to ship it to Parker, Colorado. $14. And so anyway, so that's that's just the reality of manufacturing. Something like you're making a higher technology product that can probably sell for a higher price point. You may not be forced to make it in China or overseas, but in the I don't know, I would say the under $50 price range, you have to make it there. There's just no way. We are a very evolved civilization, and everyone here wants $100 an hour, whether you're skilled or unskilled or whatever. That's just, we've done well as a country, and that's the downside of doing well, is everything gets more expensive. So if it weren't for, developing countries and stuff, we wouldn't, every child wouldn't have a cell phone at their year, A cell phone would be $10,000 and only the richest CEOs would have one. That's where we're at, but we have this false sense of what we can buy because of all that low-cost manufacturing. So, so you're at the patent pending stage. You're selling stuff already. You're patent pending too. Do you guys have any specific questions? Yeah, Greg?
I'm just curious. When you said you were using the home network,
Home shopping network?
home shopping network,
Yeah,
and you switched to QVC,
yeah.
is that a priority thing for them? You can't sell in both markets?
Yeah, you can't sell in both markets. They're competitors. So it would be like, well,
It's not money.
I could probably maybe paint it a different color and call it something else and sell it there in both markets, but I couldn't do both. They're competitors, so I just chose QVC.
I don't think that I think when you try to go on QVC, they will not take you if you're on a home shopping network.
Yeah, because when the buyers from QVC came over to our booth at the National Hardware Show, we explained that we're on HSN, and they said, well, we'd really like you to be with us, and you're gonna have to end that relationship. So, and QVC was just bigger. I mean, QVC is where you want to be anyway. You want to go with the leader, So that's what we did, and it was great. It was also a better experience. They were just bigger, more professional, and I would do all my own shows. I would fly from Denver to Pennsylvania every time I had a show. And the format for QVC and HSN is a two-person format. One person is usually the inventor, the founder, the person that brings passion to the product and can explain it. And the second is a professional employee of QVC. And so the professional employee will open the show, they'll close the show, they'll ask for the sale, they'll ask for callers, that sort of thing. And what I do is I explain, I demonstrate, and just bring passion to the product, tell the story, that sort of stuff. So that went very well. I got so good at doing that they asked me to train other presenters, just other, normal people like us, on how to be calm, how to, hit your main points, all that kind of stuff. So that was a really positive experience for me. I wish it would have lasted longer, but it's just uber competitive environment. So
if you're in Ace Hardware, does that mean you can't be in Lowe's or Home Depot?
no, I don't think that's true. I don't think they operate the same. But I don't know. I've never.
Would be nice.
I've sold Snapbagger on HomeDepot.com, Lowe's.com, a lot of .coms. So they never had a problem with it. You'd negotiate your prices with each one of them, and whether you're going to drop ship or sell it directly to them and they parse it out. So
they add products on their .com that they don't always have on their.
exactly. Yeah. And if you can always get on .coms usually,
So you're not in the retail?
What?
You're not in the retail?
No, I'm not in Home Depot, and that's been hard because I met the lawn and garden buyer of Home Depot. No, he wasn't of Home Depot. God, that was so many years ago. He was with who was the big manufacturer of rakes? Anyway, they manufactured rakes and just long-handled lawn and garden tools, which is what my Snapbagger was, a long-handled lawn and garden tool. And so I met him, and he was like, I don't know, it's too gadgety, and I was like, it's not, there's no moving parts, it solves a problem. And so, but you can have the best product in the world and $5 and a cup of coffee, and that's all you'll get. It really is all about who you can convince and the strength of your relationships, the strength of your persuasiveness and selling power. And you're going to click with some people, and with other people you're just not. And if you have a business partner that has a different personality than you, sick them on them. Sometimes women like talking to women more, sometimes it's the opposite. But really, making money at inventing is you really have to focus on where are you going to sell it, how are you going to sell it, and you need to get to those buyers. So, any other questions?
So you had a merchandising problem at Walmart. Were you able to change your packaging so you could put it on it and hang it on the wall?
No, we couldn't. I mean, it's just, we just weren't that nimble, and we didn't get a second chance. Our sell-through was so slow that we didn't get a reorder. And then by that time, the buyer that I had the relationship with, he moved to a different department. And that's the thing, that these big companies, the buyers change all the time, and they do that on purpose so that you won't form relationships and there doesn't start to be a quid pro quo or anything like that going on. So they move them around all the time, and it's challenging. The buying part is very hard. But I've sat in, Bentonville, Arkansas, and pitched to 2 different lawn and garden buyers before I got it in Walmart. I tried for 3 years before I got it in Walmart. And that's just what it takes. Either that, or somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Maybe this gentleman here has contacts, but you're only as good as your contacts, I developed my own contacts, and then I also just networked and asked people. And once you get into the inventor community, people are very generous, and share and stuff. And hey, who did you use for manufacturing this? Who did you use for that? And you just take action. Don't sit around. Just take action. Think, what's the next thing I can be doing, and do it. And 90% of it is showing up.
Do you have a website?
Yes.
You do online sales?
Yardcut.com. Yeah.
Okay. What percentage of your sales are online?
Very little. I keep it higher on my website because I really want to sell it through Amazon because it's just so easy. If I sell it from my house, I'm selling it onesie twosie, and I travel with my main job. I never quit my main job. I've been in technical sales for 21 years, and I cover a 13-state territory, and so I travel a lot, and I can't be getting orders at home. I'd be late, parsing them out. So with Amazon, I sell them case packs of 10, and I send it to their major distribution centers, and then when they get orders, they piece them out onesie twosie to the individual people around the country. And that just works better for me. If you work from home or you have a lot of home time and you can be running to the post office or to UPS, more power to you. I just can't. So I prefer Amazon. So I really try to discourage sales off my website by keeping my price higher there. And I will sell spare parts, like I'll sell the spare bungee cord on my website because you can't buy that through Amazon, and I don't want someone to lose their cord and not have a way to buy it because that would just make them frustrated. So.
Is the lawn tool on Amazon as well?
No. I stopped selling the lawn tool. The lawn tool, the snap bagger, is seasonal. Okay, it was spring and fall, and really mostly spring. This is easier. I learned all my lessons on the snap bagger. Okay, it's big, it's seasonal, it's a tool, it depicts a lot of work. I found out people don't like to work. I like to work, but not everybody does. So, a lot of people, they see it and they're like, they just want to pretend that work's not there, It was hard to sell in a lot of ways. And again, I'm just one person. And I've had various, partners or helpers here and there, but I've been consistently just me. And so about 5 years ago, I just said, you know what? I'm going to just focus on my strongest product and put everything else aside. And like, for example, now if I get this into Costco, I will have a route into Costco by which I can funnel other products, But so I just really need to focus. I have a notebook full of ideas that I'd like to be working on. I came up with one this summer that he knows about, just in my neighborhood, solving a problem in my neighborhood. I'm super excited about it. It's great. It's a great solution, but I can't get distracted. I have to focus on one, make it my, hopefully my $1 million idea, and then work on everything else. So focus and action are very important. Relationship building is very important. Any other questions? Yeah.
So on Amazon, my product, I'd say Amazon's about 75% of the market for my product.
Okay.
And I'm kind of curious, majority of the products on Amazon right now are just dropshipped from China. So do you have any, you're talking about, people would take their ideas here in the States and have the Chinese made. Have you had any issues with people selling this similar product on Amazon?
No, not on Amazon, but I have seen it on eBay, and I've had to shut down probably 3 or 4 people doing it on eBay.
Okay.
And I don't know where they got them, honestly. I don't know if they bought a few
resellers, like they're
yeah,
taking
resellers.
your exact product.
Yeah, and they'll
reselling.
sell them for more. Like they'll go for like $40 or $45 or something like that. And if someone Googles pet cleanup and they see it, they've never seen it before, so they might pay that for it. Who knows?
Or they're trying to, maybe they would do a go around and go to your manufacturer and try to buy them at the wholesale.
Yeah, there's all kinds of scenarios, and the more
those?
successful you get, the more problems you have in a way,
Yeah.
But then the more money you have to fight your patents. Like, I have 2 utility patents on the triangle and a design patent on the paw, but everyone gets all excited over patents. A patent is only good if you have $100,000 to defend it. It only gives you the right to defend it. They don't go to jail for copying you, They just don't. So unless you have money to sue them, there's some products that you should just, like you're doing, just ram it in, take it to market, And if you do your marketing right, you probably hold 51% of the market, just by getting there first and blitzing the market. There's a lot of products that you can make a ton of money with without any patents, And then there's some products There's some products where you definitely want a patent and a trademark. And especially if you want a license, if you want a license, if I want to license this to, bags on board, that make poop scoop bags, really, I'm saying, hey, I have 2 patents, a trademark, blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm selling them. If I didn't have all of that, they'd be like, well, we could just make it, thanks for the idea, So, but then they get in a lot of trouble when they do that. Big companies don't like to knock off little people because it's bad for their image and stuff. But every product is different. Every product needs a different strategy. And you just have to push it forward until someone stops you, and then go around them and keep pushing it forward. Also, don't be too in love with your idea either. If you get too much feedback that just no one wants it, go back to your notebook and pick another idea. If you're a creative, you have lots of ideas, and if you're a problem solver, ideas probably just happen walking down the street. So.
Do you have a video out there of you using it?
Yeah, there's one on the website. It's kind of dated, but there's one. Yeah, we did a professional video. We shot it here in Colorado. And I'd like to do another video of this one, another professional one, but make it like 15 or 20 seconds. My original video is probably 3 or 4 minutes. So it's super long, Yeah, and like for crowdfunding, I've thought of doing a Kickstarter or a Indiegogo, for this too. But you really need a good video for that kind of stuff. And I've been on.
I feel like sometimes you do and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I'm no expert, but like I've seen really
crappy
successful
videos.
campaigns.
Yeah.
With not that good videos. I mean. Not like the really professional looking ones that you see a lot of times.
Yeah, the $20,000 videos.
Yeah, I mean, there was a guy that did a belt here in Colorado, like kind of a tactical belt. He got like $500,000.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell it was well done.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't like, perfect, super high quality.
Do the highest quality that you can afford.
Exactly.
That's what I've always done. Before I had my nice website, I had a website that I made myself. Before, like I've done all of this the basic way. I made my own prototypes till I could afford someone to make prototypes for me, or, just put as much money as you can into that aspect, though. We put a lot of money into prototyping and development and stuff. And, you have to put a lot of money into making it pretty and spoon feeding it to people. People need to be spoon fed with video, We're a very lazy society, and people are used to seeing commercials and videos and Facebook and this and that. You need to convey the message quickly via video, and so just do the best job you can at that, whether it's filming it yourself with your iPhone, or getting your friend who's studying photography to film it for you, or paying a company to professionally do it. Just do it the best you can, but pay attention to that. It's important. Even though as engineers and inventors, we think it's shit, we're like, oh, the gears are what's important, No, if you're gonna sell it, you have to sell it, If you plan to just hang a plaque on your wall with your patent number and talk about it at your cocktail parties, you can do that, but you're not gonna sell anything, you know what I mean? I fit in that 1% of people that has actually gotten patents and sold something. That's the statistic. 1% of patents that are granted every year ever make it to the market shelves. Everything else is just a patent, And so, you wanna sell something. We're here trying to, better our lives, better our families' lives, and achieve wealth. So pay attention to that part of it. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, kind of Amazon, is, that's where I'm gonna focus.
Yeah.
Selling, just because that's where the market goes. I eventually want to move into retail.
Yeah.
just because, I mean, there still is a pretty good market there. And also too, my product would fit better in retail than all the other products do.
Yeah,
That are currently on the market. So
Yeah.
actually, majority of the products on the market right now aren't even in retail. They'll have like retail or Walmart or Target and have like one or two.
right.
So
Yeah, retail's tough. I mean, the reason I'm so excited about Costco is they're the one of the few brick and mortar that is not just surviving, but is thriving in this post.com era of Amazon. You know, they're thriving. They've got a formula, and if anyone else wants to get into Costco, I can explain to you exactly how they price things. I mean, it's completely different than any other retailer I've worked with. Every other retailer wants to, what's the word? They want to basically double up. If you sell it to them for 10, they want to retail it for 20. Costco doesn't do that. They put a very small markup on it. They let the manufacturer make money, and they make it up in volume, you know, and they've trained their members that you're only going to see this at this price for a short time, so you better get it now, you know. It's a beautiful formula they have. They really know what they're doing, and they're nice to work with. So hopefully I'll make some progress
Well, I
there.
guess they get revenue from their
What's
member dues, they get revenue.
They
too,
get,
right? So-
yeah, they get revenue from their membership dues, yeah. Oh, I remember what I was gonna tell you guys. I've auditioned for Shark Tank twice, so if any of you guys are thinking of going in the tank, talk to me. I made it to round 2, that's the closest I've gotten. But I think now if I can be holding a Costco PO, I'm gonna try again next season. And I think I can get on. If you're holding a purchase order from a major, you know, I've actually sold some, so that's a big deal. But if you get on holding a huge PO, it's a lot easier to get a deal with one of the sharks.
If you get a deal with Costco, you don't need Shark Tank.
I won't need
You
them.
better figure out how to become your own Shark Tank.
Well, yeah, that's
I'm telling you,
a good point.
I'm not an inventor, I do the business plan.
Yeah.
I do the sales.
Yeah.
I do the marketing aspect.
Yeah,
I don't care what the product is.
yeah,
Those are if you cannot pass my tests, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because you're still not gonna make any money,
yeah,
right? Nothing happens until sales made.
yeah,
That's
absolutely,
why.
absolutely.
And so you're right. Sometimes I'm dealing with folks who think a 2 to 3 minute video is the way to go. No one watches 2 to 3 minute videos.
Yeah,
You got 10 or 15 seconds to
Yeah.
grab their attention.
right,
It becomes, the younger they are, the more prevalent it is that you get this much. Here's your look.
yeah.
If you don't grab
They're
their attention
swipers.
that fast,
Swipe
you're
left,
done.
swipe right. So, no, you're absolutely right. And, yeah, so for Costco, the way I'm going about it is, there's 8 regions for Costco. So I'm working with the Southwest region. They have 6 states, and they're allowing me to do a test in Colorado, which is one of those 6 states. There's 13 Costcos here. So we're trying to set up a test. If I pass that test, then they'll roll it out through that region. But I still have to sell the pet buyer in region 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Are you
So,
allowed to set up an end cap? Are you gonna do any merchandising? Will they let you do that?
so I've put a lot of money based on my Walmart flop. I put a lot of money into merchandising design. So I was sharing that with Greg earlier. How Costco does it is, you know, instead of selling these and they get them out of the box and they hang them, you know, on a peg, or they hang them on a peg this way, they don't do that at Costco. You have to design a pallet merchandiser. So, you know, a forklift comes, gets the pallet out of the, you know, truck, and then they put it on the floor, and that's it. And that's why they're so efficient, because they don't have to have all this labor
Oh,
refilling
you don't-
shelves, you know?
Yeah.
Do you have more in the back? No, what's on that pallet is what we have, you know?
You don't unload the pallets.
Yeah.
But like you said, I mean, I shop at Costco almost weekly. and-
Yeah.
And yeah, like I've definitely been trained by Costco that like,
Yeah,
if I see something there and I like it, I buy it. 'Cause
snatch it. It's not gonna be there next week.
Yeah, things go out of there real quick.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I'm very, very excited. Yeah, so we'll see. What other questions?
So how do you get the product booted off of Amazon to copy?
I sent
That
them.
was the subject of why we're here. So I was interested in where they.
I sent them a, what was it called?
Season says.
No, it wasn't season. I contacted Amazon. Amazon has, this happens all the time on Amazon. So Amazon has a whole department, you know, and a takedown notice. That's what I said. I formulated a takedown notice. I said, you know, this product is violating U.S. patent number, blah, 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 and blah, 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 and trademark this and that. And, oh, by the way, they're using my pictures. That's me in their photo, you know, son of a bitch. And so I sent that to them and it worked. You know, they shut them down like that, you know. But then the problem I had is finding out who them was. You know, of course, I had friends and family buy these and then call the manufacturers, do all that sneaky stuff, but I mean, they were hidden behind two layers of, it's like money laundering in a way. You know how you know, how they describe how you put the money here and then you mix it in with this money and then it goes here, mix it in with that money. That's how my knockoff process was. You know, the actual guy that knocked it off sold it to this other guy who sold it to this guy who put it on Amazon. So I get a little after this guy on Amazon, and so I shut him down, right? I don't know him, he doesn't know me, and then I'm hammering Amazon. Will you please tell me who this is? I need to know. I need to know where they live. I need to know their address. I need to send my cease and desist to them to make sure they're not selling it anywhere else, you know? And I hammered and hammered, nothing. Well, little did I know that Amazon was pressuring them on the backside. They just weren't telling me. So all of a sudden I get a call out of the blue from that guy to me, and he's like, hey, I didn't realize this was your product. You know, I bought this from this other guy. He had a whole load of them, you know. And he said, I didn't know I was doing anything wrong. I'm sorry, you know, whatever. And so I said, well, give me the name of that guy. So then I got the name of that guy, called him, and then he said he bought it from this guy who had bought a container out of China. So again, you have to do a lot of your own legwork, you know, and you just have to pick up the phone and make calls and take the next logical step you can think of, you know, whether it's using a professional or, you know, and you need time or money. If you don't have money, you better have a lot of time, you know. If you don't have time, then you better have a lot of money to pay someone to do whatever part of the process you're trying to get done.
At least the patent worked to get it taken down off Amazon, so you cut off their portal.
Yeah, so Amazon, I cut off their portal quickly, but then, you know, you don't sleep at night because you're like, they're still out there. They have a container load. And then it broke my heart the way they knocked it off too. I mean, they cheapened the whole thing. They made it out of thin metal. The bungee cord, instead of this like industrial shock cord, it was like a ponytail tie. And the paint was bad. The grips, instead of, you know, a hang thing here, it was just like these hard plastic caps, and it was just shit, you know. I just hated it, and they were selling it for much cheaper than I was selling this. I set out to design a tool like my dad would design, you know, something that you can pass on to your kids, and it's good, you know. That's what I wanted to make the, you know, Cadillac of poop scoops, not shit snare, you know. And so so when they knocked it off, that, you know, it's like a punch in the gut, you know. But you just have to get over that and then make your calls and then you know, engage whoever you might want to engage to help you fight that battle. Funny thing, Costco wants to sell this a lot cheaper than I'm selling it now. So being knocked off wasn't such a bad thing because I have a lot of the knockoff product at my house, and I know it can be sold for as cheap as $19.99. So I know my product can be made for, you know, $3, $2, something like that. I know it because they did it. If they can do it, I can do it, you know. So in a way, that whole knockoff process came back around to help me. So, you know, sometimes that happens.
Did you ever deal with negative reviews from the knockoffs?
No, not that
Okay.
I've seen.
That's like one tactic I've heard of people using.
Really?
Yeah, to like, well, on Amazon because it's so competitive on who's
Yeah,
the top seller,
right,
that if someone starts selling a knockoff product, they'll start sending people do negative reviews.
right.
Or people that bought the product will put negative reviews on yours, and that's just one thing I've heard.
Yeah.
So,
I
Yeah.
think you can have those taken down unless it's verified purchase.
yeah, but again, I was just curious if you had to deal with that.
I didn't really, either it was out of sight to me or I didn't really notice that too much. But, there's only so many things you can take care of, and you just try to take care of the things that yield you the most money the quickest. So,
When they copied you, they copied your colors,
yeah, they called it the yard pup.
and they even gave it the same name.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
They were actually infringing your trademark.
They infringed on my trademark, and they even said by She Edison, my company's name, She Edison LLC. So, that was awful. But, it's in the past, and all you can do is blow forward, and, the best way to get at your enemies is to make more money than them, and so, you just have to keep blowing forward and, send your nasty letters, and hopefully, that does it until you have $100,000 to really go after them and sue them. So, what else? Anything else? You guys know you can always call me if you have questions after the meeting. Just go to yardpup.com. Any emails you send through there will come directly to me. So, yeah.
Anyway, that container load of cheap copies, is that gonna show up at trade shows somewhere?
It might.
Don't know.
Can you get it? Like, since you have basically you hold the patent and everything like that, can you actually get that shipment?
Oh, through customs or something?
That's like, isn't that what, we're.
Yeah, we tried. We tried that. Actually, Greg helped me on that quite a bit, and I don't know. We tried to get the shipment, didn't we, Greg? And we ended up getting a box of 24 units, and they were like.
The big challenge, and I think you did a fabulous job.
Huh?
You did a fabulous job tonight. You really
Oh, thank you.
captured the challenge, practical challenge. We get all those pie in the sky conversations.
Oh, yeah.
I got that and watch me up, right? But what does it really mean? And I think, so we had 2 out-of-staters, we had nobody on the ground. Who's gonna go to their house and look? Could they afford a lawyer? If they afford a lawyer, can we afford a lawyer? What if their lawyer had an idea that I hadn't seen? But suddenly grab a tiger by the tail, right? You get some nasty people on the other side. They'll spend $10,000 for a nasty lawyer, and now I'm having a fight. I was just trying to have a conversation. Melanie started a conversation. It had to go up the next level. Now you're in that weird space, as she said. You don't have 100,000. We just say, oh, we want that fight? We will fly to see you. We will sue you in your house, your town. And, yeah, okay. Now they're backing off. But trying to figure out where's the hidden stuff, how much is it, can they afford to really send it to you? Are they lying to you? If you don't have the full case.
Yeah.
Again, if I get a federal judge, I have cease and desist, and I send out a marshal, and now people are scared, and if they try and hide, then they're committing, but at some point, a federal crime. That's great, but just think about how much money and time that would take to got such a dramatic level.
And sometimes, you just have to be content where you are. Like, I just let it go at some point, and I just felt like we had scared him enough to say, we've got an eye on you. We know who you are. We're looking at you now, and for most people, that's enough to keep honest men honest, The scumbag that brought in the container, me and Greg have to talk more about that. I don't know if we've scared him enough or if he's at it again, but I found out he had another business. I did research on that business. He had horrible reviews. I mean, he's just like, he's just, one of these shady businessmen, and, yeah, shady person and stuff. So, but we did a good job for the amount of money we had to spend on it and the amount of time we had. It's time and money. Do you want to spend fighting here, or do you want to spend trying to get into Costco and Walmart and, so yeah, and you have to deal with all those things, you'll probably get knocked off, if you have something. A lot of times when you think of a product, it's like we all think of these products at the same time because we're all seeing the same TV shows, we're all seeing this. So a lot of products just happen at the same time. Then it comes down to who actually takes action on it and makes it. And then, so 9 times out of 10, you're going to have some sort of situation like that. So don't be surprised and just deal with it the best you can.
I had one comment about our friends at Amazon. I don't represent Amazon. They have a very hard line. If they have a good takedown, they'll take it down. They will not take responsibility.
Right.
They are not really watching. Unlike the copyright folks who are running, like YouTube now runs every song through their master check, so they can actually.
Oh, that's right, they can take down songs on any video, they'll find
That's
it.
exactly right, because they're actually doing a digital match check. But it's very difficult to do products and match them the same way. I mean, a song is going to be a song, but her picture, hard to find, etc. And they are not cooperative, they're not going to take responsibility, even if it appears they sold the product, right? Because it became sold by Amazon, they say we didn't sell it. It was actually the sub-vendor.
Right, we're just a medium.
Like you sold it, it says sold by Amazon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we mean the people.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. But how much money would we have had to have to take on Amazon? That was and there are favorite garage sale, your favorite flea market is there. So it's something you're like, oh, I don't want to be invited to. Yeah. Gee, don't take responsibility. So that's a favor. You will be, and she said it exactly, you will be your own sheriff, you will be your own arrest group. And I was mentioning here, you have to build your own jail to put the people in. This is all on you, because all you have is a patent, which is a right to spend money to stop people.
So your first stop is just a
And
if they cease and desist.
And you're not. And my experience is most people cease and desist, but every once in a while somebody's got a wild hair and they're committed to either ignoring you or they're going to go ahead and say, great, now we have declaratory judgment action, and I would like to invite you to my local federal court where we will fight about whether your patent's enforceable.
But if you didn't have the money to sue, let's say that they made $1 million on your product, and you send them a cease and desist, they say, fine, if they don't say anything, they just quit, okay? But in the meantime, they ran away with your dollars.
Absolutely. And again, if you can afford to get all the way in to shut them down to get your money back, but most 98% of cases settle, and I can tell you most cases that settle, you don't get your money back. Like you don't get your attorney's fees. So everybody goes in and goes, I'm going to have free attorney's fees because I'm going to show willful infringement, I'm going to get all my fees back. If 98% of cases settle, how often do you think they're settling where they're like, here's all your money and your attorney's fees in order to settle? No one throws the attorney's fees in to settle. That's one of the things you give up almost every time to settle. So people get on a high horse, I'm going to get my fees back. It's not going to cost me anything.
So the bottom line is
you have a contingent fee case, maybe, but I only know 3 contingent fee patent lawyers in Colorado, patent litigators, and they expect that you have a serious product, a serious proof, you have enough money to pay for expenses, and that we can go forward and they make some money. And they turn down 9 out of 10 of the cases that are brought in. I can't encourage you to litigate. I encourage you to invent, and I encourage you to market.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, the most practical expectation is you're just gonna get that product stopped.
and then move on.
Yes. How long ago was this? With Amazon? With Amazon, how long ago was it?
It's about 2 years ago.
Okay.
How long ago?
2 years ago.
Most recently, what I heard, this was a couple weeks ago, actually at Startup Week, there was someone that was talking about their product on Amazon. They said it's kind of one of the systems they have right now. I guess the first level is basically if you find something, Amazon will basically almost like a cease and desist, and they have a certain amount of time to dispute it, and if they don't dispute it, then they just take it off. But that's just what I heard. It's not like, it was just someone that.
They did take it off. That wasn't the issue. The issue was that they actually sold them. They didn't give us any of that money.
Oh, yeah, well,
They were like, oh, that's not us.
well, I've heard the same thing where, like you said, it says sell by Amazon, but they'll say, well, yeah, but it's actually sell. We just like to put our name out there.
We're just the agent who gets all of it.
We just have a word.
Yeah, exactly,
You,
yeah.
you, the buyer and seller,
Yes.
you're your own contract.
Yeah.
There's probably a whole industry of just people that go hunt down products to try to knock off
We'll
and make
see,
some money before they're caught, you know?
we'll see, that's where I was kind of, it's on my mind, because, so like game console stands right now, on Amazon, I would say probably about 70% of them, like I said, they're just drop shipped from China, so literally you'll find 15 of the same stands, just with someone else's logo on it, or they change the color of the LED on it.
You see it all the time,
Have
the
you gone to
products are
Alibaba?
very close.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly, but that's what I'm saying, like, so I mean, right now, like, and there are some like top sellers, that, have a good chunk of the market, but, it's like 15, 20 stands, but they're all kind of just the same.
Yeah.
So maybe little tweaks here and there. So that's where I was like, I'm going into a market where like, that's basically the market right now. So that's where I'm like, but.
You have a UPC code for your products?
Yeah,
And their products were packaged with the same UPC code?
no, they had a different barcode on them. And so I tried to trace the barcode. They knew what they were doing. I mean, there was nothing I could find on that product to trace them down. So, and then on their advertisement, they had a 1-800 number. It was my number. I was calling myself, it makes you mad. I mean, you have to have a thick skin for this business, because it really pisses you off, to see your hard work that you've worked 10 years or whatever you've worked, and then another 10 years getting your degree to be able to do this kind of stuff. And, and there's a lot of people that just take the shortcut, and there's a lot of shysters out there, but, you just do your best to defend your product and move forward, so. I remember what I was going to tell you about Shark Tank and funding. So the test order is, something I can self-fund. And then I didn't know, though, after this test order, assuming it's going to go well, if they then do a full national rollout. A national rollout, I calculated I'd need 2.5 million just to buy the inventory.
Take your PO from the bank.
So
Seriously.
you think that would work?
Yeah. Take your PO and go to a major bank.
Wells
Go to Major
Fargo?
money center bank, San Francisco, New York.
Yeah.
Major money center bank, let them handle the transactions for you.
Are you talking about factoring, like factor your receivables, or?
That's what the bank is effectively going to do. But basically, they're going to lend you the money to buy the product, bring it in, and sell it to Home Depot or Costco.
Yeah.
They're going to give you a letter of credit. They're going to guarantee your letter of credit. That's what you're asking.
So a line of credit at a certain percentage rate?
Letter of credit, a little bit different.
So there's no cost for that money? There's
Of
no.
course there's a cost. There's no free lunch at the bank.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to find a, maybe an equity investor partner or something
You
like
could
that.
do that, but you can literally finance them. And
As
as
it-
a bank, because Costco is not gonna lend any purchase.
Yeah,
Once you have a hard, firm purchase order, I want X, I want this number over this period of time delivered on such and so basis.
mhm,
You can go to almost any major money center bank, take that in, talk to one of the managers there, have it set up. And so you order your product from China, China bills basically the bank pays them. And then the money from Costco goes to the bank first. You get your.
As it turns out, the more questions I asked about how it works and so forth, the rollout will actually be kind of paced, because
Yes.
if I do good on
Even better,
this
they can
test,
scale
then
it
I'll
up.
roll it out to the Southwest Territory, which is 6 states. That's a lot less than 2.5 million, and then based on the revenue of that, then I'll roll it out to the next territory and the next territory. So it's kind of paced in a way. It's not like you do good here and you get a national
There are
contract.
banks right here
So-
that could manage that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I calmed down once I realized it's gonna be self-paced anyway, so you don't know till you know, I didn't know how Costco did business, so.
All you're trying to do is create a situation that you're not required to pay a whole bunch of money up front to the vendor.
Mhm.
Take all this inventory in hand and now wait for Costco to do something.
Oh, yeah, no, I do
That would
just-in-time
be great if you
manufacturing.
wanna do that.
Yeah, no, all my manufacturing is just in time, so I don't order from my factory until I have a PO.
And the other thing is Costco doesn't want you to go belly up on them, it's, stiff them
Right,
in the process either, so.
right.
Your banker can be your buddy. You have to go find a really good banker.
Yeah.
Can you talk more about Shark Tank?
Oh, yeah, Shark Tank, was exciting. It was, so I went to this audition, there was, I don't know how many thousand people. I got there like a day early, and, me and 3 other overachievers were there. And we took turns just holding our place in line, and the others would go, take a nap or something. And so we were the first 3 in line, and there was a line that wrapped twice around the building. It was in Palm Springs, California. And so what you do is they give you a number, and you first go into this big room, like they take the first 100, and you go into this big room. And there's this other room, and in that other room, there's little tables. There's like, I don't know, like 7 or so tables. And at each of those tables, there's a person from Shark Tank, just like a screener, And so you have 3 minutes, and when they call you, they'll call 7 people at a time. They go to those 7 tables. You can hear what's going on here and there, and some people are yelling and doing all kinds of shenanigans, And I was like, God, I should have yelled, like because you see these people like just clowns, just it's TV, That's the problem with Shark Tank is I didn't have enough drama, to go to the next level, but I did pass that level. So I pitched my thing, and then you wait a couple of weeks, and then you get this letter, congratulations, you've moved to the next level. And then so the next level is you put together a short little video, and you fill out like all this paperwork, it's like a mortgage, and tell them all the numbers of your company and all this private information and everything. And then after that, there's one more level. So I got past that one too, and then I didn't get past the 3rd level. So, but it was fun. I mean, I got a lot of leverage off my Facebook page and off my website just by posting about this process, And it was a good experience. I'd do it again, and it's really. I didn't really care if I got a deal, but if I got on there, and just demoed this, I would like the free press.
Yeah,
So it's like guerrilla marketing, you just get exposure wherever you can. And my products, they're almost innovative to a fault. You know, you need to demonstrate them, otherwise people aren't going to know what this strange looking triangle can do for them, you know? So I need a couple of seconds to just swoop into it, to demo it. So video for me and that kind of exposure is very valuable. And that's why I did Shark Tank. And that's why I tried to do Shark Tank. What else?
I was reading an article about, the Ring doorbell.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so popular, and so I think it was, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, that guy, he did pitch on Shark Tank.
And they rejected him?
4 sharks turned him down, and 1 made an offer, but he wanted too much equity.
Yeah.
And so the guy with Ring walked. And last year, he sold Ring to Amazon for $853 million.
Oops.
But he
They
said
screwed
the
up
Shark
on that
Tank
one.
thing was, it gave him exposure,
Yeah,
and he got out of it what he wanted.
yeah,
But see, they were all completely wrong on the potential.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah. I mean, I've heard stories like that too, where people go on just for the publicity.
yeah,
Because, I mean, how else are you gonna get, I mean, it's a major show,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, a lot of eyeballs,
Yeah,
so,
and you don't have to put any money into it, do you?
mm-mm,
Okay.
no, you just have to fly to wherever the show is screening. I'll probably try again if, this next season, if I get a PO from Costa.
So is it 3 levels then?
Yeah,
Okay.
there was for me anyway, so, I think some people can jump a level or so.
Okay.
But yeah, and again, it's just, how much do they like you?
Yeah.
But a lot of times,
Well-
they're looking for a certain demographic, and then, sometimes they
It's
want,
part entertainment.
it's part of entertainment,
I-
yeah. They want the person, I quit my job, if I don't get this deal, I'm gonna die, it's like.
I would tell people it's product and personality.
Yeah,
To like get on the show, like, I feel like some people have crappy products, but they get on because they're that crazy person that like.
I think I passed the first level because I had sales. Because
Yeah.
everyone in line, they were like, you have sales? Oh, you're gonna get on for sure,
Yeah.
And like a lot of people are there with a prototype and a dream, like they
Yeah.
haven't even sold anything. So if you can have already had some sales before you get on there,
Yeah, you're already in the upper group.
yeah, you're already like, you're already.
No, one's like, I sold 10, okay.
But when you go to QVC, that was a different process.
Oh, yeah, that was
Because
totally.
it's just a matter of price.
Yeah, and QVC is, it's kind of scary because they operate on what's called a guaranteed sale, guaranteed for them. So, they might order, one time they ordered 7 containers of snapbaggers from me. And, I talked them down to less than that because all the risk is on me. Because they'll buy 7 containers, but if the appetite of the people is only for 3 containers, guess who eats those other 4, They'll ship them back at their cost, but you'll end up with a warehouse full of, with 3 containers full of snapbaggers, and if you don't have somewhere else to sell them, it's very, very scary. And when you're starting out, you just don't have a lot of other places to
Especially
sell
when it's
them.
a big product like that.
Yeah, it's a big product, you have to pay for storage, and you gotta be very careful.
You don't really need to apply to them, you just need to go and sell it to a buyer.
I worked through a rep. So when I was at the National Hardware Show, QVC reps came by, and they liked the product, and they had relationships with the buyers in the various categories. So my category is lawn and garden. And so they had that relationship. So I gave them a commission off of everything I sold, basically paying for that relationship. And they were good people. I still talk, I'm friends with them on Facebook, and I've sent lots of people their way of, to give them business, and they're good reps, really good. And they walked me through the process. I was so nervous when I went there, and, they told me what to expect. There's just lights and cameras everywhere, and you have all these mini stages, and they never stop. They're always selling something. And so they're selling on this stage, and your heart is like, like, they're coming to, yeah, and then it's like, oh, this is a snapbacker, and then once I start talking, I forget about all the cameras and everything. Once you're talking about it, and it's just like breathing, you know,
Yeah.
how to describe it and stuff. And then those 6 minutes pass like 30 seconds, you know, you can't even believe it. And then you're seeing the numbers on the TV, you know, like the counter go up, all the ones you're selling. Yeah.
Oh man, that's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's very, the first few times,
So-
well, I got nervous every time, actually.
So every time they have like the founder inventor as well?
Yeah,
Or is that just sometimes?
that's most of what they try to do, but like, there was some times where I just couldn't do the show, I had a conflict with my real job, you know, and, my rep said, they would be available to demonstrate it for me, you know, because we had already demonstrated it so many times. And I let them do that once, and I didn't like the way they did it, so I never did that again, you know.
How many times do you get to do this?
As long as your numbers are sustaining, you know, and, well, and so Snapbacker was seasonal, so it was springtime, you know, February, March, April was my selling time.
You were like, did 5 shows or something?
Hmm?
You did 5 of the shows? Did you do 5 shows, 2 shows?
No, I did about 37 shows.
Well,
So, between Snapbacker and Yard Pup, through the years.
no, but I mean, at one time, at one.
Oh, at one flight? No, I'd fly in there and the most I got was 3 days of shows, you know, 1 6-minute here, 2, in a couple of days, another 6-minute here. But a lot of times I just fly in for 1 6-minute show, you know.
No. I mean, I guess probably after this 6 or some time, you're like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so odd. Why don't they just run reruns? No?
They should, yeah, but everything's live. I think they have like a 5-second delay just in case something
Oh,
really
something
bad
happens.
happens, you know? But they're just continuously,
It's probably that guy that cut himself with the samurai sword.
yeah. Yeah, so,
So when you're at QVC, is it all the same products? Like in the same,
yeah, like they'll have lawn and garden
Yeah.
mower, you know, so there's the flower pot guy and the outdoor rug
Okay.
guy and the awning person and, you know, they try to put you with light products, you know. And they have their customers trained of what hours
Yeah.
they're selling what, you know, they wouldn't mix me in with like jewelry or,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm thinking like if you're doing, you like, have to go on after some guy doing, you know, some like crazy product.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably just left.
The funny thing is when I launched Snapbacker, there was a product that I unseated. So some people have unseated me, I unseated him. It was called the Garden Grabber, and it was this big green, it was like, picture like a metal tined grape, but that's like in a circle, and it grabs like that.
Oh, man.
And he had this cool demo where he'd have like a bunch of leaves in like a tub of water, and he'd just go grab them, drain the water out, put the leaves here, and he sold the shit out of that, you know. And then the first time I launched, I sold way more than him, and he came up to me because he was on one of these little stages, you know. And he came up to me and he was like, nice job, congratulations, you know, and I'm like, thanks, sir, you know, that's all I could think of to say. I was like, thanks, sir. And and then mine had a run, and then, you know, mine ended too. So I don't know, you just have to plan for, you know, those kind of things, you know, it's just nothing's guaranteed. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, hopefully you can weather the ups and downs of it. So, yeah. Well, thank you guys. This has been fun. Like I said, if you think of any other questions after the fact, just send me an email.
I was going to say in summary between, say, QVC and Ace and Home Depot and Costco and all them, what do you think is a good and bad? Or, I mean, should people aim for certain ones or not others? Or?
Amazon's the easiest. Anyone can get on Amazon. You know, that's the easiest. But you have like, the way you configure your product for .com and for QVC is different than you configure it for brick and mortar retail, right? Because like when I sell this on Amazon, it comes in this, you know, small little reshipper, and the same with QVC. All the selling happened on the air, and then they just boom, 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 set them out, and then the customer assembles them. So So you have to think about that too, you know, does your product ship well? But Amazon's the easiest if you're just trying to like get some money. Home and garden shows, I've done very well in home and garden shows. That's another good way to get started anyway. And then national, if your product fits, you could go to the National Hardware Show if it's like a tool or something like that, or something that utility, like your waters. Didn't you have some sort of
The
flood barrier thing? That would.
We're not in the consumer market.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're
Huge.
commercial. Okay.
We're huge.
Okay. If you had, like, let's say you had small things like that, that's the kind of stuff that goes over at the National Hardware Show, but you just find your trade show, like for Yard Cup, the Global Pet Expo in Florida and Super Zoo in Las Vegas were the two shows that we went to. Yeah, and then you go to these shows and buyers come to those shows to see new products and you're there and, you know, that's the best way to find those buyers or hire a rep, you know, but make sure that rep has those relationships with those buyers. Cause they'll be like, oh yeah, we have this product in Walmart or whatever, but someone, not even them, got it there 20 years ago and they don't even know who the name of the buyer is in your category, you know? So you have to really just ask a lot of questions and
Well, you're saying that every 3 to 5 years, they switch them around anyway, so they don't,
I don't know, that's 3 to 5 years. Sometimes it's quicker than that.
okay.
Like, my buyer at HSN changed 3 times in the short time I was there. And, buyers at QVC are all different now. So, yeah, they just, you know, you just have to find the buyer. That's who's buying is the buyer.
Okay, any other questions? All right, well, thanks for coming.
You're welcome.